utilize. And they already got rid of one of those heroes themselves earlier. So they can continue down that line, but you also have to worry about the meta assassins currently in
Oke,
high
kita
notes.
masuk di game
Lancelot, the
pertama guys
former
ya.
of which has now been banned.
I
Antara
think pretty much we know for
Turki
a fact
versus
that when it
Iran
comes to
bro.
assassin jungler does not need to be messed around between the Lancelot as well
First
as
pick buat
Hayabusa, and
Turki
we
guys.
did see that Iran was able to actually have
Hero
good
yang di
potential when
ban
it comes to Lancelot. If
ada
it
Cici,
can be
Xbox,
released or given opportunity to
Esmeralda,
win,
Hayabusa.
they might actually snatch up straight away that assassin jungler if
Kita lihat
Kainza
mapnya,
mixed up or
Dangerous
actually
Grass.
comfort zone into the side of Iran's drafting. Now one more draft ban needs to be put out by Team Turkey. Do you think, is there any heroes that should be particularly focused on right now by Turkey?
Well, they already banned out the export, so they're probably going to be looking at things like the Baxia to start things off. Yeah, they even get rid of the Lancelot themselves, so it's a high chance that they'll go Baxia if they want to first pick their tank jungler. Otherwise, we've already seen first picks of Grok, got taught as you pointed out earlier.
Yeah.
Those will probably be the high priority ones.
And somehow we do see that a lot of times if we check out on the stats, right, most of the times the teams that were able to pick out, let's just focus more a little bit about mid lane on the other note. Kimi is actually a really good high priorities wise for the heroes, right? Because it gives so much of an opportunity to just break down the mid lane, having a great mobility to move around from the side lane as well, whether it's on top or bottom, and the damage burst that can be given and support. This is what is a great opportunity or even choice into the draft wise. But here on out, since that Iran has already spotted out the gameplays of Turkey after betting off a lot of not just
Baxia
Axelot,
di
but
ban.
also assassin jungler, which is Lancelot. They take off Baxia as well for the tool.
Now this is going to be a little bit more awkward because Fredrin is the only remaining tank jungler that is viable, but not typically a hero you want to first pick on blue side. But at the same time, if Team Turkiye don't take the Fredrin now, there's always a chance of it being stolen away, since Team Iran will have 2 picks once it comes down to their turn. Do they want to still prioritize onto the Fredrin getting picked up early, or do they want to
Kita
go
lihat
back
first
to
picknya
the
guys.
picks you pointed out earlier,
Turki guys.
like Grok as Gaton?
Is that Grok will be the first
First
ultimate
pick,
priority for the side of Turkey. Iran, on the other note, if they can actually already read up the idea that is being portrayed by Turkey, they can actually just snatch up the Fredrin for themselves as well to deny even more entrance or even opportunity for Turkey itself. But at the same time, again, we talked about how mid laner also has been prioritized. Lunox has been a little bit popular right here for our MLB women category.
Yeah, Lunox was fairly popular on both these teams actually, so
Yeah.
it might be worth grabbing early, but Himi is still a very, very annoying level 1 mid laner that you might have to worry about, since there is already a Grok being paired up on the side of Turkey as well. It's like it's going to be the
Yesun
Shin, but also
Angela.
the Angela. This was a specialty of Iran even on day 1.
Yeah, and the fact that they were able to actually win against South Africa as well with the combo of Yisun Shin with Angela shows how much of the confidence they have in this combination. The question is, team of Iran, they had a lot of sustained heroes, which is Grok to actually hold out the front line with Alice on the side. So the question is, can Iran find a way to make sure that this strategy can be repeated against Turkey? On the side of Turkey, they picked
Arif,
up Harith
Iesf.
immediately with Eve.
Alright, very solid conclusion here from Team Turkey. We've already seen them play with the Grok Eve combination. Very strong team fighting, and this is a squad that likes to go for those 5v5s. And then you lock in the Harith as well, because then you can start focusing down the gold laners, and you can force Iran into a situation where they either go for the Granger right now, or they'll have to flex into it later. But Iran does have the Sun Shin, so double fighter side lane is a possibility. The only thing that they need to be worried about is going to be that mid lane prio, because you will have an Angela versus Eve matchup, and that's heavily favoring Eve.
Gatot Kaca.
We are seeing that Iran is prioritizing on Gatot Kaca yet again. Pretty much Gatot Kaca is, I think, the pick-wise rate right now between every heroes that we have. Gatot Kaca will be the top priorities inside our MLB women category. And you know for a fact that Gatot Kaca with the AOD might be able to actually just punch into the line of the bag for the side of Eve itself. But the question is, looking on the side of Turkiye, we do see a lot of the control are much more on their side. Now going into the ban phase right now, as Laplap we've been taken out by Iran. Turkey can just shut down even more further of the mid laner if they think that there's a possibility that Iran wants to take another goal lane. But I don't think that's really, yeah, right?
And they already have Angela and Gatot. You don't really have a slot for a different mid laner unless you want to put Lunox in the gold lane, which is possible, but not the most ideal. Though it's also
Ruby
actually
defend
not too bad
lapu-lapu.
since the Esme has already been taken out, and we might want something that can handle the hero. If the Ruby does get banned out, so Turkiye is already looking at the double fighter silent combo, and you want to get rid of the sustained heroes that work particularly well with Angela. So this is going to be Ruby, Yuzong, Alice.
That could be one of the top priority-wise to ban off and take out from the pool itself from Turkey. On the side of Team Iran, they can actually just drag out a little bit more for the side lanes heroes. What is the particular heroes that you're looking for right now, Stefan?
I'm actually surprised that they didn't ban the Lapu Lapu themselves. I feel like they could have gone
Fredrin.
for it perfectly fine, but they'll also get rid of the Fredrin. So now, basically all of the meta junglers have been taken out of the pool, and Turkiye is going to need to make a decision as to how they want to approach the rest of it. Akai is still open, so I think that's probably going to be the fallback since I'm currently not a big fan of the Joy. I think Turkiye should continue banning out Angela combos. It's just whether they're more afraid of Alice or Yuzong.
Is it really viable to actually have Joy there? As you talked about how you're not really in the favor of Joy to be picked out right
A
here.
lot of teams still pick Joy, but
Yeah.
I don't really like it very much personally.
Why?
I just think she's not that strong anymore.
Ah, I see. Even with the mobility-wise, you feel like it's just not enough to pull through
Like her
for
burst
the
damage
team
is
fight. Yeah.
Alice.
take too long to scale.
I see. But then we talked about
Alice
how
defend.
Turkey can definitely just drag out either Yuzong or even Alice, so they prioritize on Alice to be taken out from the pool. Now, Iran, you still need a lot of your side lane to be given out more. So, what are the teams that what are the heroes that you feel like might probably be popping off right now?
If Ruby was not banned, Ruby 100% gets picked here because you want to keep things as flexible as possible. You could go Yuzong just to make sure it doesn't get stolen, but then you can get counteracted on the opposite side. So that is not the most ideal. That's why I thought they should have kept Lapu Lapu for themselves. Would have been one of the safer EXP laners. They'll go into the
Okay.
Phobius, which I guess is fine since the Esme is already taken out. But we saw Phobius get wrecked pretty hard earlier today with the glue. So I'm eyeing that for Turkiye.
And the fact that I feel like there is also a possibility of Arlet popping up. Do you think that Arlet is actually a good choice as well to be picking up right here for Turkey?
Arlet for Turkey is actually not bad at all.
Right?
It doesn't have the best laning phase into Phobius, but you can actually outplay to match up your skill. And it works particularly well with the Eve, with the final slash into the RWM combo. So that's actually not bad at all. Blue or Arlet would both be very solid for EXP lane. For jungle, it could be Akai, but they still want to go tank. But they actually lock in the Suyo.
They lock in the Suyo. I mean, pretty much we talked about how a lot of the tank junglers have already been picked off already, and we thought that
Ada
they were going to
blue,
go
ada
into that
Suyo.
kind of path. Probably Akai was already open, but ended up they picking up Suyo into their hands now. Last option coming out from Iran itself. Again, I feel like pretty much on the side of Iran, they are going to actually focus more on how Yi Sun-shin is going to actually portray more for the defense, or no, sorry, for the damage wise. But is it going to be enough though? They need one more hero to have that kind of countability, but it's going to be Benedetta to be picked
Benedetta.
up right there.
Benedetta Gold? Is that what we're looking at here? Now this is very interesting. This is not something I've actually seen at all, even with all the experimentation that teams are doing. Certainly a fighter hero that could work well with the Angela. Can be built in very flexible ways, though I do think you want to ideally get at least bruiser type because you do need damage right now on the side of Team Iran. Very interesting final pick coming in here, and not too bad all things considered, but it is a high execution ceiling.
I feel like on the side of Draft Rise, it feels like when it covered up to the side of Team Turkiye, they kind of actually control all the angles. They'll be able to actually have that momentum fighting off with Team Iran. On the side of Team Iran though, they need to slow down a little bit of the pace of Turkiye. If they can do that, they might be able to actually counter-attack all of the initiation that we've done.
This is a double fighter side lane comp coming in from Team Iran, so normally they would need to be the ones creating the tempo, creating the momentum.
Yeah.
The issue is they have an Angela mid, and that means that your mid lane priority is going to fall behind compared to that of an Eve, especially paired with the Grok as well. So they want to get the tempo, but it's going to be difficult to do so unless they get a little bit more assistance in the mid lane from their jungler.
Right, that's just us analyzing, but this is all up to these two teams. Yet again, we are here for the WEC 2025. Let's take a look for the lower bracket between Turkiye versus Iran.
All right, let's get things started. Having a look already at the emblem setup, this is indeed a gold lane Benedetta going lethal ignition, so I wouldn't be surprised if Kana goes for a full damage build. Does have that petrify as well.
Thoughts coming through from the side of Sherry to Nora, but they're definitely going to actually just zone out a little bit for the mid lane. Great move comes through, but Neil on the other node. A lot of damage soaking up to the side of Uno Hana. Not a bad decision making coming in, but I think that Neil will be fine on her own. Not to worry whatsoever, just to zone out things. And even Kana having herself just a little bit into deep.
Yeah, this Benedetta is not the best fighter for handling a Harif, unfortunately. So that means that Team Iran is actually losing lane prio on both of the side lanes and the mid lane as well. So it's going to be very difficult for them to actually make any movements happen on the map, and their scaling is not the best.
But coming up for the Mountain Shaker, missed it out, but then again they come through for Sherry's side. Still not enough though. Now they're pushing in with Kujo, joining along with the team fight. Neutralize just a little bit for now.
Alright, good movements there. The Revitalize being able to keep Sherry alive. Otherwise, that would have been a very punishing dive coming in from Iran.
Coming out right now, still Red Rapid comes through. Lishika just trying to zone out, trying to make sure that all the creeps will not be stolen, but unfortunately it's just all lost for the side of Iran.
That's a good transition too. They specifically target the EXP lane to set up for the turtle, and they're able to get the bonus of poking out Sherry. This should be a free first objective for Team Turkiye, but we are starting to see Kana exert a bit more pressure over this Harif.
Hana just trying to pull through. Neil is not having a good time right at the top, especially the fact that even at the moment they're trying to go in, RWM put out. At the same time, Lishika trying to survive all alone. Hardguards pulls out to the Sherry side, but at the same time, what cost? Because at the end, they were able to take down. Now come through to the fight with Nora right now, surviving it all out. It drags it off, but Kana gets the first blood right here to Kujo. And moving along, the Neil will shut down Nora for the side of 2 kills in the hands of Iran.
Here we can already see the value of the Benedetta in the side lane, being able to rotate and join fights a lot more easily compared to other heroes. I like the invade. They actually did manage to steal the purple buff away from Sherry, but hold on.
Woo! Sherry with a last hit takes down Zendaya. One more. Uno Hana just tried to survive it out, but unfortunately, it's going to be a good win for Iran.
I have to say, this is probably one of the most effective uses of Angela that we've seen the entire tournament so far, being able to save people on a tiny sliver of HP and actually enabling earlier rotations. We said on paper that Nirvana might have difficulty getting lane prio against Zendaya because of the hero matchup, but looks like they've been able to handle that thanks to Sherry's intervention. They're being very active on the map right now, and that's exactly what Team Iran needs to be doing.
A lot of invasive move coming on from Turkey, and now it comes back to bite them because of how Iran was able to back it up to their side. And this is where overextension will be punished, and Turkey needs to be a little bit disciplined more. Yes, they did do a lot of pressure just now, but Iran finally falls through and had the momentum. But at the same time, Kana is not doing well at their own lane, but not to worry, Nirvana is just on the lookout. But at the same time, right here, goes in for the tectonic charge with the Urgent Rapid, just holding up. Neil surviving it all with the hard guard being put out. Neil has no worry, but RWM has already been put out. Neil will not be able to survive it out. Unona takes her down immediately. Lishika tried to go all out with the AOG, but it will not do anything as one kill is enough for Turkey to get it.
It sure did take quite a while though, that hard guard keeping Neil topped up, but once again, Turkey aiming for the turtle timing.
And comes in along with the air turn rampage. Kana trying to go all out to Nora, but at the same time, zoning comes through with Kujo as well. Lishika will be able to take down Nora immediately. Now pushing on right now. Sherry having a little bit fun right here with Zaynaya shutting her down. But at the same time, it's already a good trade coming along by Iran with Turkey.
Unohana finding the right target there, specifically the enemy jungle. Unfortunately, Kujo did take quite a bit of poke previously, so not able to muscle their way through the turtle, since the rest of the frontliners from Iran are still alive. They're going to continue zoning them out. By the time they restart the turtle, Sherry will actually be able to rejoin the fray. Does Iran actually still want to contest this or not?
See,
ini
a
free
lot of
guys.
zoning coming in from Nora's side. Be sure that they don't come through. Gujo will be able to get the turtle because of such a control
Tanpa
comes in
retry
from
yo.
Turkiye. Iran on the other note, losing Sherry kind of put them a little bit step back, but it's okay. They might be able to breathe just a little bit. Unohana, a lot of pressure to Neil yet again. A lot of focus comes into EXP.
Now, I think we have to highlight a little bit about the win conditions here, especially for Team Iran. They are playing double fight their side lane with an Angela mid. This means that a lot of their power spike is in the mid game. The ideal is to get ahead by the 10-minute mark.
No one to be caught out by the AOG, but Mount sure comes through right here. Nora had to pull away with the tectonic charge just to survive it out. But Edisby, you can actually see that the whole entire fallbacks had to be pulled away for neutralization.
I kind of feel like Nora could have actually committed for that, used the tectonic charge aggressively instead, because the rest of her team was quite nearby.
But RWM been put out right here. Lishika trying to go all those out, but Zaman Force comes through right here. Lishika tries to survive it out, but can he do it with the hard guard comes through? Lishika still have managed to survive, but will be taken out by Mirko. Now moving along, go for the infinite person. Never know will be taken out by Zandaya. Now moving along, trying to pull it up, but Turkey just doing so much damage until Iran could not do anything. Left it off with the tectonic charge. Kana comes through with the Mieko shutting down. Now 1, 2, 3 teams. No, make it a 4 players just shut down, wiped out in the hands of Turkey.
I like the idea of Team Iran to try and make use of the grab on top of Lisichka to dive onto Mieko instead, but it took them way too long and too many resources to do so, which scattered their forces. Only with Kana coming in all the way from the other side of the map were they finally able to take down this Harif, and by then it was a 1-for-4 trade.
Coming on for a fight again. Tectonic charge comes through. Monster Shocker try to pull into Nora. Says Zendaya will be taken out by Kana. First of all, enough damage, but now they're chasing for Nora as well. They want to make sure they can be able to do so. Zaman force be put up on Mieko, but it will not stop any movement coming from Iran.
All right, there we go. That's what Team Iran is looking for. Those off-tempo plays. Turkiye was not expecting a fight there, but the AOG right into the try-bush got an excellent choke point. We can see that Kana is actually being quite annoying here on this Benedetta, now unstoppable.
Unstoppable indeed. All the slash comes through. Kujo shuts down immediately. The rain comes through with jungler. Been wiped out by Team Iran. Now this turtle is going to be a free kill for the side of Iran.
They'll be able to scare it easily. Now Unohana might get punished a little bit. Actually gets stunned in. This glue gonna jump back in actually.
Grab straight away to Neil, but is it going to be a condition that is going to be good? RWM been put up as Zendaya. At the same time, Neil just grabbing it through and through. But at the same time, it's going to give an opportunity for Rico to just shut her down immediately.
We're seeing a lot of action right now. It didn't happen on screen, but Mieko actually won a 1v1 against Kana as well. Picked the Benedetta off before the fight even started. So we can see that Mieko doing good on this Hari.
Hot guard immediately putting out to Sherry, making sure that nobody actually gets away easily. But again, they were trying to invade into the side of Team Iran. A lot of back and forth comes through from these two teams.
And now Team Turkiye, they're aware that Mieko is going to be their win condition. This Harif doing a very good job so far. And it does come down to that gold lane duel and whether or not Kana is able to find the angles when it comes down to the team fights. We're at the 8-minute, nearly 9-minute mark. Gold lead still just a little under 3k in favor of Turkiye, which is definitely a deficit that you can make up on. The Team Iran will need to make that happen sooner than later.
The fact that they're just trying to figure out which way can they actually pull through. A little bit of bullying can be done a little, so that they can actually have that turn so that flips around for the side of Team Iran. Turkiye, so far, they had a really good control from the start, but now Iran is finding answers from one another. Could not move, could not find a way, had to use the AOG just to run.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine to do that there. Better to keep yourself alive, especially since the Lord is going to be up in another 15 seconds or so. Turkiye does have the slightly better late game scaling overall, and that's basically why I said Iran needed to be the ones making use of the mid-game power spike. Since if they're not in the lead, the later the game goes, the harder it's going to be for them to keep up. So with Kana around, there is always going to be a win condition as long as this Benedetta is able to find the caps onto the Hari.
Moving into the Lord Dance right here by Team Turkey. Iran, unfortunately, was a little bit too late, but they're moving on right here to the side of Neil. Neil had to pull away straight away before they became casualty, but Kujo does not allow it. Hardguard had to be put out to Neil to survive it out, but at the same time, Kana making a great decision, but Earthen Rapid being put out. They deny it. RWM put it out as well so that they cannot move away. AWG trying to put it out. Can they actually survive? They make it sure that they will be able to survive. Nura will be taken out by Kana immediately, but at the same time, they fight for Mieko by Sherry itself, and now leaving only Unohana to fend for herself. 3 players in the hands of Iran.
A total reversal from Team Iran, and now Unohana, the only one left, trying to buy as much time as possible, and honestly doing a great job of it. Hardguard will be used to get Angela away. Turkey made a mistake. They stayed for too long. They underestimated the healing coming out of this Angela. But Unohana will finally fall as the Lord shoves down the bot lane.
Coming in from Iran, great zoning from Unohana to survive it out. 4 players just try to ram her to make sure that she will be not taken down that quite easily, but at the same time, Iran still have it in their ear bag because the fact is they were able to survive for themselves. Now Turkey, even though they got the loss, now they still need to make sure that push comes through so that they can make sure that Iran loses a lot of their defense. Here on out, Klishika will be able to move away very quickly, no casualty.
I feel like at this point, multiple members of Iran have to have Oracle, because that healing is actually adding up to a lot more than you would ordinarily expect. And Team Turkiye is actually running into some issues where even though they have really good scaling damage, the consistency of it is not enough to actually whittle down their opponents. And so, the later the game goes, the more my initial predictions may actually fall incorrectly. No oracles at all, simply the flask alone from Nirvana actually keeping Team Iran topped up.
Very, very risky from the side of Iran, but then again, Kujo, little bit of overextension. Kana comes in for the diving as well as with the help of that hard guard. But here on out, because of their invasiveness, they might actually fall down. And right now, Nirvana just trying to secure to survive it out will not be allowed at all, giving Turkey that 2 kills for themselves.
That was definitely a bit too greedy there. Kana saw what could have been an easy kill on Kujo, but neglected to think about where the rest of Team Turkey would be on the map. Lisicka was not really having the vision on anyone, so they will at least trade her life for the bottom tier 2.
And even then, we do see that a little bit of steal comes in from the side of Team Iran. They will try to make sure they have the objective, the minor objective that they needed, that they can control the movement of the minions. And this is what we want to see, the diversion that they want to have, as well as the macro, as well as the micro skills we needed into the hands of Team Iran. So far, they have been backing off from the side of Team Turkey, even though they lost a couple of life. Now, Lord is coming in right here, and they're trying to set things up with Lisicka. Try to make it through, making sure that can spot out any movement or even any ambush that will be put out by Team Turkey.
I think setting up for this, Team Turkey have to play a little bit more disciplined. They're well aware of how tanky Hardguard makes Team Iran at this point. It might be good to try and play a slower fight, wait until the duration runs out.
Yeah, with AOD going right to the mid, as well as Mieko going all out to push out to Lisicka. Can they make it through it? They go with the tectonic charge, gets 2 players, but at the same time, Lisicka will be the one, the victim, to be fall down. But at the same time, they push it to Kana! Will be shut down by Kujo, and now Neil trying to survive it out, but unfortunately, Infinite Pursuit just to be able to survive will not be able to do so, as Kujo shuts down Neil with 3 pieces in the hands of Turkey.
That was excellently played right there from Team Turkey, specifically targeting Sherry first to force the Heart Guard out onto the Yisun Shin, but that's not actually the target it gets the maximum value from. You want the Angela on the Benedetta, or even the Phobius in this case, since they will be able to keep sustaining and walking in the front line. Since Sherry had to play it safe and stand behind, it meant that Team Turkey basically didn't have to contend with Heart Guard at all throughout that entire battle. And then we're able to slowly dismantle Team Iran one by one. I gotta give a shout out especially to Zendaya, popping that RWM perfectly at the edge of the dash from Kana, locking her in place just long enough for Kujo's burst to come true.
Yeah, exactly. The momentum, how they control, how Kana comes in. They want to make sure that they know the positioning of what Iran's about to do. And now, pushing on straight to the bottom turret that has been already dropped down. Looking for the top as well. RWM being picked out. Moving on with the tectonic charge. Putting on a rampage as well. They're pushing in to survive, but Hargot put out Lisicka. Can they survive that? Kana comes in with the slash, but then it's not going to be enough damage. Now they will be punishing to the side of Team Iran as they lost Neil. And moving on with the Zaman Force by Mieko. Mieko overextension can be extended. That's
offside
definitely sign
harusnya
of
guys.
Mirana shutting him down, but at the same time right here, Team Turkiye, they know that lot of damage already been done as they already stolen Neil as well as Kana.
So far, we're seeing good discipline from Team Turkey. They're basically doing what I said they needed to. Wait until the hard card runs out to recommit onto the team fight. It's just unfortunate that Mieko walked a little bit too far forward and got punished for it. Otherwise, this is a guaranteed game win. But for now, Iran should be able to hold on to the base. They will have to deal with having no inhibitors left though.
Back off for
Tapi
discipline-wise,
Dana
respect that is
jebol
needed to be
motor.
given. They cannot take any risk. Waiting off for Mieko as they know that pretty much all of the damage they are going to focus more by Mieko herself. And this is what Team Turkiye is doing. Having that much time can actually set up a really good team fight against Team Iran. But the question is, Team Iran, with a little breather that has been given by Turkiye, can they actually put out a really good defense for their own base?
I think their defensive capabilities are not too bad, especially since Kana's Electo final blow should be able to get wave clear in quite efficiently. But we know that the later the game goes, the more the scaling is going to kick in for Team Turkiye. Even though the goal lead is not all that big as of right now, a lot of heroes on the side of Team Iran are going to start falling off in overall utility. Especially this Phoveus is no longer as tanky as he needs to be.
Ooh, a little bit too late with that Electro, but at the same time right here, it might actually come to fight it off. Kujo comes in with the tectonic charge by the side, takes down Nirvana, immediately Kana all by herself, will be shut down, and this is going to open even more doors for Turkiye.
That was beautifully done by Kujo. Out the Electro final blow and the Petrify. Even the hard guard committed meant that two members of Iran were now completely out of position for basically nothing.
Summon Force will put out Sherry in the loose, but at the same time minutes to back off, but at the same time right here, Tectonic Charge comes through with the Lichika, trying to survive it out, pushing on straight away. AOG had to be pulled out for the survival, but Neil all alone to defend for the frosting side will be shut down by Kujo. No, Lichika trying to fend for the crystal. Can they do so with the Sherry as well on the side? Let the weapon be put out, trying to do some damage right here, making sure that they will still survive it out. And Turkey somehow, Mount Shocker put out. Is it going to be enough damage? Nope, not at all. Turkey backs up as quickly as possible.
But Mieko keeps making this mistake of diving way too far forward. Again, that was a guaranteed base push if Team Turkey had their gold laner. But for some reason, the Harith just decided to Zaman Force all the way into the other side of the base, where the rest of her team was not close enough to be able to support her. Because of that, Turkey has to back up. They have to go for the Lord instead. And that gives Iran time to regroup. They still have to contend with the waves pushing into the base, but they do have an Angela to be able to handle that at least.
With Angela still holding off their positioning, they know for a fact that they just have to play with time, but it comes in with the Tectonic Charge. AOG comes through, but unfortunately losing a lot of lifeline. Lishika had to back away. Haga comes in with the Electro Blast, comes through. Can they actually manage to do a damage? No, they actually have a little bit of struggle. They had to pull away with the RWM. Nyoko takes down Sherry immediately now, leaving one more player to be taken out by Kujo himself with Neil. Now they're pushing this straight away into Lishika as well as Nirvana. Kujo just looking from the sideline. They know for a fact that they can just take down immediately. Enter Rapid to shut down Lishika immediately. This is a crystal for Turkey to get the first win.
And a triple kill from Kujo on the Suyo jungle. Claims the victory in game number 1 for Team Turkiye. While there were certainly some mistakes made, overall the game was clean. The calls were solid and they knew exactly what they wanted to achieve with this lineup.
I think pretty much we saw a little bit of overextension coming in from Turkey, but it doesn't really matter because they already know they had a really good setup to go in. That Tectonic Charge, getting a lot of the players of Iran out of place. Why that we are seeing that Team Iran started